What up, everybody? It's your brother Brian, back again for another episode of the Monster Movie Funhouse. And today we have an exceptional film, I would say, because I don't know that there's anything else quite like it exactly. It's a blaxploitation kung fu monster movie
Yeah,
called The Devil's Express. But first off, just wanted to mention, Matt, last week you mentioned a movie that you really enjoyed called Brawl in Cell Block 99.
yeah.
I watched that and it is awesome.
Yeah, right. That's like one of the
Amazing.
best movies I've seen in a long time, personally.
Amazing.
And the director always puts out some good stuff. So if you've seen, I don't know if you've seen Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, man.
That was the first one he did, and then
Yep.
that Brawl was the second. He has another one too with Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson called Dragged Across Concrete.
Oh,
And
well,
that one's
yeah, I mean, I am like, he is on that list now of directors where
yeah,
I'll see anything that they do.
yeah.
I don't
And
even care what it's about.
he does a really low budget too, yeah,
I
and like
know.
the special features are really interesting. I like it a lot. It's like kind of like a modern Tarantino in some ways. Hate to
Well,
say it,
that
but that's like
the
his
better.
biggest. But yeah, that's like his biggest influence. He was saying, like, but it's like way more. I don't know, man. Like I hate to say it, but a lot of his movies have that Lovecraft ending. You know what I mean? Where you just it
Yes.
leaves you just kind of like emptiness.
Yeah, feeling hollowed out.
Mm-hmm.
but
But I love
also
that
going,
movie, man.
that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. The Brawl is his best one though. Like that one just fucking and seeing Vince. I'm not like that. I'm not the biggest Vince Vaughn fan. I mean,
Me
I know he can.
neither.
I know he could play Norman Bates decent, for whatever. But man, he did it. He sold it in that movie. He just turned into this character. So
Right? I mean, absolute complete transformation.
yeah,
Like some, Sean Penn, Daniel Day-Lewis kind of shit.
yeah,
Right? And managed to look like kind of ominous,
yeah,
right? Like I never
yeah.
knew he was that big of a guy, and you don't see like muscles or anything, but he
No,
looks swole.
yeah, and it's crazy seeing big guys like that swing. Just like they move and then you see the arm come in later, like
Yeah,
whoosh,
yeah,
whoosh,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But that's the thing
yeah,
you could be like a really a big guy, and be relatively harmless, but you could also hurt people if you put your mind to
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, man. I like that fight where he gets the shoe. That one's pretty crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, far out.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the reason I'm mentioning it too, aside from giving you props, my brother,
Oh,
is because it's one of those films that isn't a horror movie,
oh yeah,
but you recommend it to your friends who love horror
yeah.
movies.
It's horrific. Oh, dude. Okay, so there's another one that's like that. It's not as good, but it was
Yeah.
fun. That I know
Uh-huh.
you get a kick out of. It's
Yeah.
called, I believe it's called uh V VF VFW.
VFW, yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. Which was definitely fun. That
Yeah,
was actually the first movie I think that was produced by like the new Fangoria,
Fangoria, yeah. And I was like,
right?
This isn't a straight horror movie. I'm like, this is in the vein of like, I don't know. It's horrific. It's a horrific action movie.
Yeah, it's like an exploitation movie,
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, totally, dude.
And another one where it's like, okay, this isn't horror, but if you love horror, go check this out.
And I love
Like,
seeing like old over the hill characters, like especially those older actors, like put them in there and they're like and make them fight. I mean, even if it's not realistic, it's just fun for me to
you don't
watch
care,
it.
yeah, no, because it's just great seeing them, right?
Especially like Stephen Lang, like him just like coming out
Oh,
of like Tombstone. He was a badass. I heard he was drunk to the whole filming of that movie,
was he
and
really?
he just came back as Cable and James Cameron's Avatar. Like he's fucking Cable right there. He's just buff and swole. And then he's fighting Jason Momoa and Conan the Barbarian with a prosthetic nose.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
yeah, just seen him do all these different crazy movies, and he played that cool. And then I don't know, a lot
I
of
remember.
guys in there.
God, I just saw him the other night in something where he was
Yeah,
like virtually unrecognizable.
lots of stuff. And he's down. He's from
Yeah.
Boston too. Like in the Conan movie that was trash. You know, he's
sure
got that
was.
double sword or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was great in there. And then he's in that new horror movie where he's blind. Have you seen that one? I forgot the name
of course.
of it.
Yeah. Don't breathe.
Don't breathe. That movie was solid, dude. Like, you know, I liked it. I thought it was good.
I loved it.
And it has a sequel too. And it wasn't what I expected it would be. That's why I liked it. You know, I thought, oh, it's gonna be like fucking, you know, horror Gran Torino with a blind guy. You know what I mean? So
right.
It wasn't. It was something different.
I see. I still haven't seen it, but you have, and you recommend it? You give it the.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, fucking. You know, I love Stephen Lang going all the way back to this Michael Mann TV series he did called Crime Story.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that. I have to check that out.
Really, really good. And then he also was in another a Michael Mann movie called Manhunter.
I remember that.
Right? As Freddie Lowndes, I think, works for the Tatla. He had like the accent, like the Boston accent down and everything.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Manhunter being a early adaptation of Red Dragon, the novel by Thomas Harris, which features the first appearance of Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
It's Brian Cox, right?
Yes, Brian Cox in that. Yes. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of. I never saw it, and I like Michael Mann a lot, but I never got around to watching it. And William Peterson's in it too, right?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, I gotta watch it because Mann's
excellent.
the shit, you know. But there's another movie about Mann that I really want to watch equally is The Keep. I think that's what it's called, The Keep.
Oh, you've never seen that?
It's hard to find, dude. Well, you know, it's Ian McKellen, and he sees it as a scourge of his filmography. You know what I mean? So he doesn't want anybody. He's not happy about it. But like seeing that, I'm like, oh damn, you know, like this guy can put down horror movies in that genre. You know what I mean? Like I was reading that dude did War Party, Professor Murph. I was like, after seeing that, you know, you could do Last of the Mohicans, do the fucking Michael Mann could do this, you know, after just watching a documentary on the Keep, you know.
Oh, without a doubt. Oh man, that would be sweet. I know Murph would like to direct it himself, though.
Right?
if he could, you know, that would be the deal. I'd be like, you know, I'll let you have the script. You know, I'll let you have the rights if you let me direct. I bet you he would do that. He'd probably pull it off great too. But yeah, definitely. The Keep is worth seeing. I saw that in its initial theatrical run, and it didn't feel like a good movie. It felt like the trailer for a good movie.
Okay.
I think that's one of those movies that got fucked up in the editing room.
Yeah, that's
and
where it's made,
there may have been absolutely. And there could have been some post-production fuckery, in which case I'm like, dude, it's like, first of all, you owe it to your fans to make that shit available. I mean, you know, I've got a copy. I can always hook you up, brother. With both endings too, by the way. There's two endings too.
So I knew you'd know about it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And because also I'm a huge fan of the novel. The novel is just amazing. It takes every gothic horror trope that is like, you know, very old and tired and not scary anymore, and makes it scary again.
Oh wow.
And yeah. I very, very highly recommend the novel. The novel's friggin' amazing. Oh, real quick in the chat, Ollie, yo, what's up? Lorenzo Sleestack, yo. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we're talking about this movie. Let me see if I can share my screen without incident. And as we always do, we try to pick movies that you're going to be able to watch with the movies that aren't behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Right. So every movie we review, it's going to be on like Tubi or Plex or even YouTube. Like I found a sweet cherry copy of this on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that one's a little better than the Tubi one.
It is.
Yeah.
I actually should have stressed that, but yeah, that's the movie we're talking about. Yes, Warhawk Tanzania for the win. Now, you know what I love about this poster? First of all, this is from the golden age when movie posters, even if they were for complete low budget, zero budget in this case, pieces of trash, they would be paintings.
Oh yeah, like top quality, like Frazetta-esque, hiring different painters from around the world, just top quality for every like fucking movie almost.
I mean, amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
They're all
today,
classically trained, and now it's like not even in that, not even
oh,
thought about. You know what I mean?
oh, dude, like some jack off in a cubicle,
Yeah,
just like throw something together with Photoshop in like 5 minutes.
yeah. And there's a lot of stealing too. I've seen some people steal like other people's stuff from different movies and concepts, and because when you're doing something like this, I think it's always about the concept and the
Yes,
composition. You know what I mean?
yes,
For
yes.
something that's this big, a movie
Yeah,
poster and the balance of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at the
absolutely.
train and then his afro and the circle and just how everything
Right,
balances out. And
right, right.
it
Of
looks
course,
cool though.
the circle, of course, being the medallion that is an important part of the plot of Devil's Express. Speaking
Yeah.
of the plot of Devil's Express, okay, so we open in ancient China. Uh, God, how long was this? I think maybe like 2,000 years ago or something.
200 BC, it said.
200 BC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was off by about like 200 years. So what happens is you see a procession of monks, and they are burying something, and then they all kind of commit ritual suicide. One of them cuts their heads off with a sword, and then does himself. And presumably this is to create like a seal of some kind on the tomb, and so that nobody can give away its existence. So you would know whatever's down there has got to be pretty nasty. And of course, it is nasty. Fast forward to what, 1974,
Yeah.
New York City, and there's a gang war going down. But Warhawk Tanzania is holding it down. He's teaching kung fu, and he goes with one of his students to China, which oddly enough looks exactly like upstate New York.
Mm. Probably was, huh?
Seriously, yeah. I never.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought that China was, that they had like different kinds of trees and plants and stuff. No, it looks exactly like upstate New York. And while they're there, his Warhawk Tanzania's ne'er do well a student steals the medallion that is on the tomb, right? Which is obviously some kind of a protective seal, something to keep the evil bound,
Yeah.
right? And so he just grabs it, scumbag that he is, right?
Yeah.
And takes it with him to New York. Something rises out of this tomb and evidently possesses the body of a man who has eyeballs painted on his
Eyelids.
eyelids.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah, man.
That
Yeah.
transformation scene when he's in the subway, everything's splitting open. It looks pretty far out.
Yeah. No, that was gnarly. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie was, it kind of reminded me of Big Trouble in Little China, and what I liked about it was the Chinese mysticism.
Yes.
And I'm just like wondering, I wonder if there's a lot of movies made like this, but I don't think there was,
No, there
and I'm
weren't.
always looking for like movies have action, that have Chinese mysticism in them, that are like, back from the 80s or 70s or early 90s. You don't really find too many of them,
Well, most of those were being done by Choi Hark.
Mm.
Like Big Trouble in Little China was largely influenced by the Choi Hark movies, which were like, you went from the Shaw Brothers kung fu movies, which were basically informed by the Peking opera, right?
Yeah, I've heard of
And
that.
once you realize that, and you're familiar with like just what the Peking opera was, you
Yeah,
understand kung fu movies 100 times better, right?
right.
And then, of course, Bruce Lee came along. He shook everything up. The fights looked like actual fights,
Yeah, more brutal.
more brutal. And then in the 80s and the 90s, you had wire fu,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is when you started which is when they started bringing in like the Chinese mysticism and the magic and all that stuff. And yeah, there was the director was Choi Hark, was the guy who was like the master of those. And those were the movies that inspired John Carpenter when he made Big Trouble in Little China.
And
So
I like the street stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No. I mean, what was I going to say? Oh wait, I know what I was going to do. I was going to share a pic of a man here.
Because in Big Trouble, there was a lot of like, the Chinese street gangs were fighting in San Francisco, and Kurt Russell was trying to escape, and you can see they're fighting the three, elements.
Storms.
Yeah, the three storms. And it just kind of reminded me of that. Like John Carpenter was probably inspired by this, maybe a little bit, possibly, maybe not, but that's kind of what I thought was cool. Yeah, that guy was cracked out. He was crazy.
Right?
Need some more coffee.
Or less, or something.
Right?
You need something. I don't know what it is, right? And so he comes out of, he gets on a boat, and presumably this is the monster wearing this guy's skin.
I see.
And it's explained to, like, he starts walking through the streets, and he's like doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
And all the noise and everything is freaking him out, so he goes underground. He goes into the New York City subway system, where he sheds his skin and emerges as a horrifying creature that looks like it cost maybe about $5. Oh wait, no. Here's another one. I gotta share this here. Check this out, folks, because this is definitely a special movie. There we go. It gives you an idea of what you're in for. And so he goes underground and sheds his skin and emerges as this kind of like a muck monster, I want to call it.
Yeah, like a muck monster type deal.
Right? Because he looks, well, whoever made this knew that they didn't have a very good monster, and as inept as the filmmaking is in this movie sometimes, especially during the fight scenes, he knew to like not really put a lot of light on the monster. Let's put it that way.
It's good to shoot it down there in the dark.
Exactly. If your monster is not that good, keep it in the shadows. Let people wonder. But yeah, so Warhawk Tanzania, the man's man, right? Who, as I said, does not suffer jive turkeys.
Nah, man.
At all.
I never seen him before. Was he in like other movies a lot, or?
Well, I was thinking about doing a Warhawk Tanzania film festival. It would consist entirely of 2 movies. He was in this and another movie called Force 4.
Oh, okay.
And evidently he lives. He's still around and lives somewhere, I think, in either Brooklyn or Queens.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So maybe I could do like a Warhawk Tanzania Film Festival, rent out a theater, and play his entire filmography and do a question and answer period afterwards. But yeah, so there's a street war going on.
Yeah. And
in fact, one of the alternate titles for this movie is Gang War.
I saw that on YouTube. I was like, oh.
Right? But it removes all the horror elements.
Yeah, and both the titles are good. Both the titles for this movie are good, but for some reason, I don't think either of them fit the movie, but they do. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have any Chinese mysticism thing in there whatsoever, really. I mean, it's a devil down there, but it's like that's like a loose term, and then
or like a wizard, like I thought it was maybe like a lich.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like a wizard that had found a way to like keep his body moving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Probably by like eating people or sucking their blood or doing or eating their heads.
What I thought was cool about him is basically he kind of reminded me of 2 characters put together from Marvel from back in the day. I don't know.
Ooh, go ahead. I'm wondering if you're thinking what I'm thinking.
Okay, Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Yes.
So his name's Luke. He wears yellow. He travels away from America, learns, possibly kung fu, comes back, You know, he's not a rich white kid, but he's a dude from, you know, from the streets. You know what I mean? And then he opens up his own, you know, studio and starts teaching it. So it's kind of like, I don't know if maybe they were in the comics, and I'd also say that like this would be a sweet comic book. It would be an awesome.
It would.
It would be an awesome anime as well, and manga. Obviously, it could work out as all of those things. Video game would be sick, and fuck it, I wouldn't mind watching a remake of it. I know you hate remakes. I hate them too, but for me, I could see it, dude. Like I could see like Michael J. White playing him. You know what I mean?
Oh God, Michael J. White. He would be
Michael J. White.
Awesome.
Just like with connecting with the punches and the kicks. For me, like because you could in this movie, it's because it was back in the day. It's more of a dance. You know, like they're dancing and they're you know a little bit. You know, and they're still probably learning the stuff. You know what I mean? As far as connecting the blows. You know. Yeah,
because like in the Peking opera. That's the fights are very, very dance-like in the old like Shaw Brothers Kung Fu movies.
Yeah.
Here, what's happening, I believe, is you're seeing what they do in the dojo when they're training.
Yeah.
But it's on the street.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Absolutely. So,
you know, in other words, you know, when you're practicing martial arts, there are different kinds of sparring, but there's also a type of sparring where you're not really sparring, but you're kind of like, I'm throwing a punch, and then you do this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah,
right.
You can see the whole move. It's almost like they do the when they're making the movie and they're rehearsing the fight choreography for the new movies that we watch now, like you know, watch on the special features. They're choreographing the fight sequences. You know, you're watching a choreographed fight sequence in this movie a lot of the time, which is cool. And I know what it is, but I mean, man, I could just see this movie. Like if I did remake it, I would do it in the same time period. And I love seeing it in the 70s. I love seeing the dirty, like disgusting streets of New York. Just the gangs, you know what I mean?
Yes, New York City after White Flight.
Imagine like, you know, making a sick monster, like an even cooler monster at the end. Like they're just like there's a lot. This movie is a really cool concept, dude. You know what I mean?
Isn't it?
And it's a cool movie. And for me, like something like this, if it was done right, it could be a cool remake. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-remake. What I'm anti was that huge string of remakes that we had a few years ago.
It's all the time. Everything now. Still, it's just everything's nonstop, and it's like, dude, like most of the time, I don't know.
Well, it's not as. I think the RoboCop remake that kind of like put a little bit of a stop to it, or if not a full stop, at least it slowed it down significantly. Because they were doing remakes of every 70s and 80s horror classic.
Everything. And they're still trying to do Big Trouble. They've been trying to make Big Trouble with The Rock's been trying to make that movie for 10 years. And I think he was trying to get Carpenter in as producer, and he just like, nah.
Yeah. Like, that sounds like him. Yeah. I would watch a sequel.
I read a sequel by Eric Powell and John Carpenter.
Yes.
That was pretty fun.
It was. Do that, you know?
Yeah.
And
put Kurt Russell in it. I mean, he's still making movies. Fuck it. You know what I mean?
He's still making movies. And here's the other thing, too. Because I know, like, I would love to see him play Snake Plissken again. And people are like, oh, no, he's too old. I'm like, no, you don't get it. Older, meaner, nastier. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, you don't play, you know, he's going to get you quicker, too. You know what I mean? And people like, they don't, I don't know. I know a lot of badass old people in real life that could kick a lot of ass. You know what I mean? And those are the ones that go into retire and they become like farmers, and they're like, they have this mindset that if you don't use it, you're going to lose it, and that means your mind and your body. And so a lot of them are in shape and they're down. You know, so it's like I look at Stallone, he could kick my ass. You know what I mean? Oh, he's too old for that role. I'm like, dude, he could kick most people's asses. You have no idea.
That old man would thump you.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it's just that. In Western society, we're used to old people being infirm, not being able to move.
Yeah.
And then you look at these cats that are like martial artists, right? The old Chinese dudes, and they're flexible. They can move.
Yeah, and look at it's always like the old like dojo master. You know what I mean? The old monk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not the young monk.
No,
but he's the master, right?
the abbot of at the Shaolin Temple, fuck your shit up very, very, very
So
easily.
I'm always down for an old guy in a movie kicking ass. I
Yes,
like that. I'm always
I
down
do
with that.
too.
And
I do
like,
too.
forget Unforgiven. I'm talking action, and I know Unforgiven's like a badass movie, and all of the, but
But
dude.
but that's a drama as opposed to
Yeah.
like an adventure film.
But
I mean,
people always refer to that movie. It seems like they're like, oh, Unforgiven, the old over the hill guy. That's fucking. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, yeah, or like when the first trailers came out for the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie, seeing
Okay.
Sean Connery just like whipping people's monkey asses.
Yeah.
Just
throwing them
like
punches. Like,
yeah, like
ah.
yeah, like an old Alan Quatermain's probably still going to be pretty friggin' dangerous.
Yeah, he's like hunting tigers and bears and elephants and oh my.
Exactly.
And I was
Exactly.
like, that's perfect, dude, because he played, the old Indiana Jones, and it kind of like, goes into that, like the shoe, you know what I mean? Shoehorn right in there,
Absolutely. So, like, I think Kurt Russell would be great. I mean, for like Big Trouble in Little China, he's playing Jack Burton.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have him going, "Oh, my back," and shit like that, and you play it for laughs.
Dude, and you give him like a trucker beard and a trucker hat.
Yes.
It's all white and gray. Like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It would be awesome.
Big flannel, a mug, like a big thermos,
Yeah.
Drinking some soup or something out of it,
Like I never understood why Jackie Chan, like I don't know if you're like a Hong Kong movie guy, like I am.
I've seen a few of them, but not like you.
Okay. Anyway, the Team Supreme was Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Yuan Biao, right?
Okay.
And these three guys, like they met each other when they were children in the Peking Opera.
Oh, okay.
Where they were subjected to training that nowadays would be considered felony child abuse.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right?
I'm sure Jackie, too, and Jet Li as well, right?
Oh, my God, right? And, yeah, I mean, they since, changed that, but, Jackie Chan's like, it's good that the schools aren't that brutal anymore, but the students, they're not as good as we were.
Exactly.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So the three, I never understood why the three of them who were like way up there now, why they never did like like another movie with the three of them basically playing like these like old dudes in in like a nursing home, like Die Hard in a nursing home.
That'd be sweet, dude. Yeah, that'd be
amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah.
I would watch that shit in a heartbeat, man.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But yes. Yeah, but I mean, I agree with you. Stuff like this does get my mind turning in like a comic book direction.
Oh yeah, some movies do that, and I gotta like switch it off. Like, dude, not everything's a comic or supposed to be a comic, and then the other part's like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, exactly. This would be awesome. It would be awesome. You would buy that shit in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. You could if they remade this, you could make it more hardcore, like action, or you can make it more hardcore horror, or more. There's so much you could do, or both. There's just it's just like a good concept, bro. You know what I mean?
It is. It's
totally cool. I like the cop in here too. The two cops, they're funny.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're like proper actors in the movie.
Yeah. And there was another guy in there. Oh, that priest that's always yelling. I seen him in what was he in The Burbs? I think.
Oh, you're talking about Brother Theodore. That's right. Brother Theodore is in this.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a pic of him.
He's in the scene right here. He's like, rah, 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 rah. I'm like, that's that fool from The Burbs, dude.
Jesus is dead. Moses is dead.
Yeah.
Buddha is dead. Muhammad is dead. And I'm not feeling so good myself.
Yeah, and the cop he's like, hey, you can't go down there. You gotta stay up here. And then Tanzania just like waits till he leaves, and then he just goes down. He runs down there, and then he jumps out there like he was like, I'm gonna fuck this fool up, like whatever it is.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But a quick word about Brother Theodore. He would be best known for his appearances on the David Letterman show.
Oh, okay.
Do a search for Brother Theodore and David Letterman, and you will see some pretty interesting things. He was like a spoken word artist, somewhat of a comedian. Very difficult to pigeonhole. He was also a pretty, I would say, a pretty busy voice actor.
Oh, okay.
He did the voice of Gollum
Oh,
in
nice.
the Rankin Bass TV adaptation of The Hobbit, for instance, which is an amazing performance. He's very much, let's say, more inhuman
Mm.
and frog-like. If you've never seen that before, yeah, like
I've seen the cartoon from back in the day. I don't know if
that's what I'm
that's
talking
that.
about.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah,
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 that totally matches up with his voice.
yeah. I wish they had you know played that scene or that part of the book better in the Hobbit movies. But then again, well, the Hobbit movies, are what they are.
I
And
like him.
you
Sorry,
know
I
what?
know.
No,
Everybody
no,
hates
no,
him, but I
dude,
like him.
dude. I enjoy the first one. I like the
Yeah,
first one. I think I'm like, okay, it's not the movie I wanted, but
yeah.
it's
First
it,
one's
it's
pretty good.
alright. It's alright.
It's pretty cool. I like
Yeah.
the I just like all the dwarves and the. I mean, I don't know. And the last one, there's a rated R version of it. I got that one, the Battle of Five Armies. That one's pretty brutal, dude. If you've seen the rated R one,
Oh.
it's pretty bloody and gory.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's where it completely falls apart.
Yeah, it's yeah. But
Like that's
I don't
where
know.
I
I
was
just
just
like that.
like,
No, it just yeah. It's for movies. It just doesn't have the story. Just kind of whack. But I like just the world and the costumes and the
yeah, yeah,
sets and
yeah.
the actors and Billy Connolly playing a redheaded dwarf.
Right, right, right. Yeah. No,
Uh,
all that stuff is great, and there's some great set pieces, like
yeah,
when they're going down the river in the barrel, and they're
yeah, that was
popping
fun.
out, and they're fighting, and then
Yeah.
they're jumping back
Oh,
in.
dude,
Right.
Legolas in those movies, he's like way fucking OP compared to the I think
Yes.
there's probably even more like fights, like hand to hand fight scenes in the Hobbit trilogy too. And I like Beorn a lot. Um,
Well, the
but I
fight
like them
scenes
all.
were a
I
little bit
just like
better
it all, dude.
choreographed. Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
mean, I like especially like in the first one. I think in the third act, they're like going through like the Goblin
oh yeah,
Kingdom,
yeah. So
right?
cool. Yeah,
That
I
shit
love
was
that.
great. So
And
I
they're
was
all
just
like kind
like,
of white, and they look different,
yeah.
So I'm into that, and I like the whole like because I watched all that. I have all the 16-hour each movie 16-hour special features. It's a lot of shit, and
Mm.
I would probably consider like all those movies maybe like up there with my favorite movie. I consider them all like one movie, all six of them, and obviously the Fellowship on are probably the better ones, obviously, but I like to watch those around the holidays, man. Like around my house, I'll do
Mm.
I'll start them. I'll start them in I'll just put them on in the background, but I'll start it around like Thanksgiving, mid Christmas. I'll do a decorating, and then Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I'll just play them all, man. They're just kind of fun. But
Yeah, they
Viggo
are.
Mortensen, man, he was even just like, I'm not fucking with this shit. They tried to bring him on, but not to get derailed too much. But yeah, man, I'm a little like not really looking forward to the new Lord of the Rings stuff.
Oh God. Well, because any IP that I care about, I don't want to see them do anything with
Yeah.
for like the next 3 or 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because this woke shit's is going to come to an end.
That's another reason why like this movie can't. If they were to make a remake of this movie we're talking about, it would be
Yeah.
woke as fuck. It would suck too, probably.
It would
That
really
you'd
suck.
have to wait. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on a sec. Let me get a picture of.
But yeah, dude, he was even wearing the yellow like Luke Cage. You know what I mean? It made me think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
him a little.
yeah.
And his name's fucking Luke.
The gold lame, the gold lame,
Jumper overalls.
what's it called? Overalls. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gold lame overalls.
He put those on too at the end. Like, I'm gonna go fuck this fool up. He's like,
Absolutely. And you know what? It works great too in that murky setting because he stands out a little bit more.
yeah, and it's shinier.
It's shinier. Yeah. It actually worked beautifully. Here, let me just show you really quick. Let's see. Where the hell? Who the what? Okay, this is fucking with me. I'm trying to get a picture of Brother Theodore. Yeah, who's like in this like very, very, very briefly. But what can I say? He was always a memorable presence in anything that he was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays a priest in this.
Look at his eyes.
Oh yeah, he was a dude. He was
It's
one
all
of those
evil.
guys. Well, he was one of those guys where you're just like, is this guy a lunatic or is it an act?
Right. Yeah,
And you
totally.
never knew. And
He
I
was good
think
in
that
the
was the
Burbs.
point,
Yeah.
right? Where kind of like in professional wrestling or something like that, where you don't know what's real and what's not.
Toeing the line.
Absolutely. But yeah, so shit gets crazy. People are showing up headless in the freaking subways. Warhawk, Tanzania, man, baby, he's got to go down there and he's got to deal with this thing, and deal with it he does. Unfortunately, this wizard or whatever, this lich or this muck monster, whatever it is, has powers, magic powers, and starts using them. And it's a little bit like he starts throwing like steel girders at him and shit. But he also can like, I don't know, like summon these like illusory combatants. It's kind of like at the end of like Mortal Kombat where Hiroyuki Tagawa is like, he has the souls of these like warriors that he's vanquished and he sends them to fight. It's kind of like that.
Totally.
But then you're but I don't I don't want to give it away. I don't want to tell you who wins the fight, but my money's on Warhawk, Tanzania. But yeah, I mean, you would say that this was a fun movie, right?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. And like I said, like I like, that's what I said, I like about like the mysticism, like seeing like Chinese magic in movies. You know what I mean, with a dark edge to it. You know what I mean? We don't
Absolutely.
get too much of that. Like, not really. I mean, the only modern ones I could even think of would be like The Wall with Matt Damon, and maybe the Tomb of the Mummy 3 with Jet Li and Brent. You know, I know that they're both cheesy movies, but and then you got Big Trouble. You know what I mean? As far as American cinema goes, you know, modern.
Yeah, for the Hong Kong movies, my favorite one in that genre is The Bride with White Hair.
Oh, I'm about to check that out.
Oh, magnificent. It's one of my favorite movies, although it's less a martial arts movie and more of a wuxia. Wuxia is like a genre that involves like, it's always set in like the mystical past or some kind of a mystical past, and there's always strong romantic plots.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So it's like love and sword fighting. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is the best example I can give you of a wuxia. What else would I? For the magic. Oh, Battle Wizard. Have you ever seen Battle Wizard?
Nah, man. Nah.
Check that shit out, son. As a matter of fact, I think that might actually even be on Netflix.
Really? I have to check Battle Wizard out.
Yeah, and the Mad Monk, I think. See, problem is a lot of these movies have multiple titles.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So it can be kind of easy to God damn it.
Well, Jay Dalla's in the chat. What's up, Jay Dalla?
What up, Jay Dalla? What up, dude? Good to see you. Always
Sweet baby juice.
Oh wait. And then there's this dude
with the makeup on.
Wow.
He's probably one of the other actors in the movie, huh?
No, I don't know. It's clearly like, I think like some Caucasian dude done up to look Chinese, but then it looks sort of like, I mean, you could see like the grease paint.
Yeah.
And everything. Totally. It doesn't look like movie makeup. It looks like stage makeup.
Totally.
right?
plastered on there pretty thick too.
Yeah, yeah. And then of course, here we have the big climax. You can't go down there, Warhawk. Man, get out of my way, you fool. Or Luke, yeah, that's right. Yeah, his name is Luke, and he's wearing the gold. You know what? There may have been what year did this come out? It was this. Oh, because I think you might be onto something with the Luke Cage thing, because Marvel was always very quick to hop on a trend, right? So blaxploitation movies were coming out; they were very successful, and so they needed a blaxploitation hero, and that's who Luke Cage is, right?
Oh, totally.
The guy who says to Doctor Doom, "Where's my money, honey?" So,
oh man,
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember that issue where like
No.
Doctor Doom hires him for I think private security or something like that, and he's like, "I'll pay you like $3,000 or something like that." He's like, "All right," and Doctor Doom leaves town without paying him, and Luke is like, "Oh hell no," and he goes. Breaks into the Fantastic Four's to the Baxter Building, steals one of like the Fantastic Four jets, flies to Latveria, and crashes into Doom's palace. And is like, "Where's my money, honey?"
That's
Pay
pretty funny,
me.
dude.
Oh, hysterical.
That would have been good to see like in a movie or on that TV show.
Oh my god!
It's so random. Like what the? Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and Doom is just like, huh? Like, dude, I wasn't like trying to screw you out of any money. I just like literally forgot that you exist.
Right? He's like,
and he's just like,
here you go.
Bank vault is over there. Help yourself. Right? Take as much as you like. You walk out with, right? And Luke could be walking out with like a big rucksack full of like gold and emeralds and all kinds of banknotes, you name it. But Luke goes in, and no, he takes exactly 300 or $3,000, and
like Michael Douglas in Falling Down.
Yeah, just
50 cents.
Yeah, just what's owed him. That's it. But yeah, and also with the kung fu, right? Because the blaxploitation craze and the kung fu thing sort of happened at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's why you got Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, and an Iron Fist. Excuse me, goddamn, that boy's a PIG pig. And my favorite, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, which was a black and white magazine that the Marvel black and white comics, they could get away with more. And because they weren't, for some reason, since they were magazine format, they weren't subjected to the Comics Code Authority.
Nice.
So, they could do nudity. Not that they usually did. I mean, they did like in the first issue of the Duck magazine, where you see Beverly Schweitzer get her baps out, which, it's kind of like, really? Not that I have a problem with nudity in comics, but I was like, and Howard the Duck, really? Is this the time and the place for to see Beverly Schweitzer get naked? But yeah, so Marvel was always quick to hop on a trend, and it could be that maybe now I don't know who it was that created Luke Cage. Maybe it was Jerry Conway. I want to say Jerry Conway. Maybe it was Roy Thomas. But one of those dudes, right? And remember, too, they lived in the city at that time.
I don't know if it was Marv Wolfman. I know he created...
Marv Wolfman.
I don't know. He might have been. I know he created Blade. And Blade was kind of blaxploitation at the time. That's what I was saying, totally. Too. If they remake Blade, they better make him like he was, like the blaxploitation Blade with the big goggles. And because I don't want to see... I don't want to see fucking Wesley Snipes want to be Wesley's sticky figures.
That's what you get. That's what you're getting.
I don't want to see that shit, dude. Because Wesley Snipes made that role. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, he's irreplaceable as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you see, I would politely disagree. For the TV series, I was like, oh, maybe they'll get Michael Jai White. Michael Jai White would have.
He would have been perfect.
Jai White would have been perfect.
Yeah, I made that argument before. Like he's,
right?
He's perfect.
It's like, oh, so you're gonna get Michael Jai White, right? Now we're gonna have Sticky Fingers.
It's like, what?
Who? What? Sticky Fingers. You know the DJ from Onyx? You
cross
fucking
eyes?
idiot. Yeah, dude, I didn't watch a single episode. I was like already. I was just like, I'm done.
And at that time, Spike TV like was kind of, if they would have had Jai White and Spike TV, and he hadn't made Spawn in like 10 years, you know, it would have took off. It would have been a big ass show. Like it would have been a big hit. But
I think now the Blade anime is finally available over here because it wasn't for the longest time. It's terrific. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, you'll love it. You'll absolutely. What's great is that it deals with like different kinds of vampires from different folklore.
Ooh, I like that.
So they're like these Filipino vampires that are sort of.
Dude,
like
I've heard a lot about those. Yeah, right? I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Some dude was telling me about that, like back in the day, like he was half Filipino and his grandma had all these horror stories about these vampires that jump on roofs in the Philippines and come in and suck your blood. I'm like, ooh, I could use that. That's scary.
And then
that's funny.
Yeah. So you should definitely check that out. And then there are the hopping vampires, the Chinese hopping vampires. Have you ever seen them?
No.
Oh, that's like a whole thing. That's like like Mr. Vampire. There's like a bunch of movies that have the hopping vampires. They all have their arms out like this, and they go just hop after you. Yeah, that's a thing. Oh, Encounters of the Spooky Kind. Check that out. That's got some of the hopping vampires in it, and a lot of magic and supernatural and kung fu. It's got
Ooh, I like that.
My man, Sammo Hung. Yeah, Encounters of the Spooky Kind, and then there's also a sequel that's like also like really good, well worth checking out. And what's great is, back in the day, if I would recommend a movie like that to somebody, how the hell are they going to see it?
Yeah, now you can do it. You know.
Now you can do it.
These movies are awesome, man. You know, like
they're
just right at your fingertips. I just get a big bowl of like Doritos and Lay's and dump some Tapatio and lemon and lime juice all over that.
Yeah,
they're just getting in there and watching it, man, and laughing my ass off at some of the shit, and getting a kick out of it, and having some fun, and seeing some stuff that hasn't been done in ages.
Now, you see, this is what I love about the Alamo Drafthouse. This is a movie like this, like Devil's Express. This is exactly the kind of movie they would play at the Alamo Drafthouse. I don't know if you're.
No,
I don't know. Oh, okay, because we have one in Yonkers, and it's the shit.
Damn.
Alamo Drafthouse, basically movie theater chain, started in Austin. They have a bar where they have where you can get the latest like craft beers, the limited editions and that kind of a thing. The good shit, right?
Yeah.
and I'm always overwhelmed. So what do you do in that situation? You ask the staff, right?
Right.
You're like, what do you like?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And you get whatever it is they recommend out of like the 2 or 3. You pick one of those, and when you go into the theater, there are these long tables in front of you.
Okay.
And you're given a menu, and the food is great. That's one of the few things that's good about hipsters is like, food
in their drink.
Yes. That's like the one good. Yeah. And what'll happen is during the movie, they'll like sneak in the waiters and waitresses. They'll sneak in like ninjas.
Oh shit!
And put your food and your drink. And if you need something, this is totally. I'm so not making this shit up, dude. It's it's fucking amazing. You if you need something, what you do is they have like a little pocket in the table that has like pencils and little slips of paper. And what you do is you write your order down and you put it in this little holder, right? And you'll be watching the movie and suddenly this hand will come up.
That shit's funny, dude.
And
they're all crawling around on the floor.
Yeah. And then like 15 minutes later, you see these hands come up.
Thank you.
Yeah, because cell phones are verboten. talking during the movie, verboten,
Oh yeah.
right? They'll give you one warning and then they'll bounce your ass out, right?
Oh, nice.
So, what they'll like, this is perfect because they have about like 6 screens, at least at the Yonkers one, right?
Yeah.
5 of the screens will be showing whatever the new shit is, right?
Okay.
1 screen will be showing this.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Or like Zombie, or Once Upon a Time in the West, or The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, or John Carpenter's The Thing, or whatever.
The good
right?
shit.
The good shit, the good
Yeah.
shit, the cult shit, right?
Yeah, I go in there and get a big steak, a good stein, and maybe a fucking shot of some whiskey. You know what I mean? A big
Oh yeah. The only
steak,
problem is
big
that
baked
you
potato.
can't. The only problem is you can't like smoke or vape in there. That's
Oh.
the only thing. Like I like because otherwise it's just like this is my dream theater. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You could chew your tobacco in there and spit it on the floor.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I still do vape, but it's like a little stealth vape, like
sneak a vape. Exactly. Or you can just like put it in your like coat or something, and just have like a tube,
And
Hit it
what's
like
great,
Popeye.
Yeah. And we live close enough to the city where they'll have special events where sometimes the director or the writer will show up.
Well, that's cool.
And yeah. And
some brain picking on that, huh?
Yeah. And also just like an opportunity to say, hey, what's up? Pleasure to meet you. I love your shit. Could you sign this for me? Always make sure that that they personalize it so they know it's not going on eBay. It's either going on my shelf or my wall.
Dude, my buddy. What my buddy does. We haven't gone in years, but we'd go to Comic-Con San Diego, and he'd take this little journal around with him, a little just sketchbook like that big, and he would take it to writers and make them draw a picture.
Interesting.
Like, okay, and then they're like forced to draw a picture, and most of the time they're not really into drawing, but it's fun, But he's got like a drawing by some guy that doesn't draw it. It's a writer, you know what I mean? Nobody has an illustration by the writer, and they'll have him sign it too.
That's genius, right?
They're like, hey, why don't you sign this for me? And they're like, what the? Okay, or why don't you draw this for me and then sign it? Yeah, okay, whatever.
That's genius. That's genius.
Yeah, it's pretty smart.
And also that's got to wake them up. You know what I mean?
It does, man. It's like when you're going into that restaurant and you're like, hey, what do you guys drink? And they're like, oh, this guy actually gives a fuck about kind of me and my what I think, my opinion. You know what I mean? And I like seeing people when you're lucky enough to hit them with something and they wake up.
Yeah, I mean, I've got stuff signed where people were like surprised when I asked to have it personalized. Yeah. Where they were like, huh?
Yeah, and it's like, a good talking. It's a good story too. You know what I mean? So you're having someone over some beers or whatever, dinner.
Yeah.
And you're pulling out your cigs, and you're like, well, check this out, and I made him do this and da da da. Yeah,
that's great. So even if it's just like a stick figure.
Yeah,
it's a stick figure by like Roy Thomas or Jerry Conway or any of the contemporary heavy hitters. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I couldn't even remember because I don't know for sure. I can't quote anything, but I remember we've seen Steve Niles there.
I love that.
I was trying to think of who else. You know what I mean?
His Twitter, by the way, is definitely worth following because he posts like stuff from his original art collection.
Yeah,
and pictures of his giant tortoise Gil.
Oh, really?
As a giant tortoise, and it'll be like the Gil update.
He seemed like a really nice dude. He was promoting some like some carnival detective book at the time,
right?
He was a really nice guy, and that was when he was working with Bernie in the last Bernie years, And I guess they were homies, like they were working on a lot of shit together, And so,
a lot of shit together.
He's a big influence on me, like as in my later years, is now that
Yeah, he's really. Yeah, he's excellent writer. Also, just seems like a totally chill guy. Yeah. Did you see on I think it was Deadliest Warrior? They had like a Halloween episode where it was zombies versus vampires.
Oh no, I think I remember it, but no, I fucking love that show. That was one of my favorite shows, dude. Remember almost full circle, half circle, Spike TV, Blade. Yes. And that was on Spike, I think. You know what I mean? Right. That was a cool network, dude. There was a time, But yeah, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. But what was I gonna say?
Vampires versus zombies
Vampires,
on
yeah, vampires versus
Deadliest
zombies.
Warrior.
Yeah, so they had, for the zombies, they brought in Max Brooks, who wrote World War Z, which is an amazing novel.
That's
The
what I hear.
movie,
That's what I
the
hear. I've seen
movie
the movie.
is there's no connection except for the title. They bought the rights. I love Brad Pitt, right? But
Yeah.
he bought the rights for the title, and that's it. Right?
Yeah, you can't do that. You gotta like respect people's soul. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When it's in the form of art.
Yes, and also I have to say, not only is that novel brilliant, the audiobook is fantastic because he's got different actors, great voice actors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the book itself consists of interviews with survivors of the zombie war.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's just great stuff. But,
audiobooks, man. I need to get some of those because like I always thought like, fucking audiobook. Who the fuck would do it? What the? And now I'm just thinking like, oh, well, I'm drawing or maybe I'm sitting in fucking traffic on the 405 or something. I could totally be listening to that. You know what I mean? I don't have time to read it and I can't stare at it while I'm staring at the road or.
Right. You can have a great storyteller sitting next to you and telling you a story.
Exactly.
And audiobooks I've always felt got a bad rap.
Oh yeah, totally. Like I'm telling you.
Right. But now they've really come into their own.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Like especially if you're, like to draw or something or
yes,
you're working on comics or something.
Right. Or if you're if you're going for a walk, listen to that on your iPod or whatever, or especially if you're going to be stuck in fucking traffic.
Yeah, that's like the worst. Like that shit drives me nuts. I think that's like the worst like time waster. Like how can I like use this time without getting in an accident to do something other than having my brain to stare at this guy's bumper?
Right. Let's check out this. Let's check out the World War Z audiobook. And like I said, that one's great too because it's sort of like a like radio play in that respect. So like Henry Rollins is like the bodyguard.
Yeah.
And and then there's Mark Hamill, and he's like a soldier who survived the Battle of Yonkers. And so on and so forth. And then there's a Chinese guy, a South African guy, a German guy. He's played by the German actor Jürgen Prochnow from Das Boot, and so on and so forth. And I highly, highly recommend that. But it's just like cool. The people that I recommend it to, they're like, I saw the movie, I didn't like it. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's just, I don't know. Like I always think of stuff like there's usually a different. I try to be more open-minded, but I'm not all the time. But like,
no, I know.
Like you said, I've heard World War Z. Like people say, you got to read the fucking book. You know what I mean? And then you were talking about the Vault earlier. Like, oh, I read the book. I'm like, what is a fucking book about it? But usually there's the Keep. I'm sorry, the Vault.
Yep. And, yeah, amazing. Yeah,
and me, I to be honest, I don't have too much time to read. Like,
right.
Because I'm doing a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't have time to read a book. And I know it sounds stupid, but.
No, it doesn't. Most people don't have. Most people don't have a lot of time to read. That's been one of the problems in our society for a long time is a lack of free time.
Reading is so much cooler sometimes than like, watching a movie. You know what I mean? Because you're building this world inside your head involuntarily.
Right. And then with comic books, what you're seeing is what the artist is seeing.
Yeah, and then you're populating the in between.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Involuntarily.
Yes. Well, no, automatically.
Yeah.
Right. It's Scott McCloud has this book called Understanding Comics, where he explains actually what's going on in your brain while you're reading a comic.
That's cool.
It's anybody that's interested in making comics, I highly recommend that you.
I'll check that out. I love just the whole idea of making comics. There's this channel called Strip Panel Naked on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a good channel, dude, and they just deconstruct everything about making the books. I'm really into that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, well, the whole process, the whole craft of making a comics, which is very much its own thing.
Yeah,
as opposed to people are like, oh, it's like storyboards for a movie. No, it's not.
No, it's its own form of multimedia, you know.
Exactly.
And you're going to get a totally different experience and feeling out of it as to reading a book, watching a movie, reading a comic, playing a video game. They're all different. You're going to get different feels out of all of them, you know.
Exactly.
Which I never thought that. I thought, you know, it's just, what the fuck? It's just a comic, you know what I mean? Until I got older.
Right. And each medium has its strengths and its weaknesses, and each medium has certain things you can only do in that medium.
Yeah.
And for me, as a comic writer, I'm always looking for those things.
Sky's the limit. Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm always looking for those things that you can only do in comics. And I haven't, you know, totally gotten it yet, but you know, old
me neither.
No, but I mean, look, we're both learning our craft as we're going.
Oh, totally, man. I'm trying to learn every day, you know, and the more I do one thing, it's like I could get a little better at it, you know what I mean? But then I'll shift onto something else, you know, and it gets a little tricky. And then you got to go back and relearn it.
Well, yeah, and like unlearn sometimes when you've made mistakes or when you've been doing something wrong.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like martial arts that way.
Yeah.
But that's the important thing, is that commitment to getting better and better and better.
Oh yeah.
And you know, there's nothing worse than the people that are really, really talented and they just feel like, it's good enough. Now I could just like sit back on my ass and just phone it in. You know, the Robert De Niro's of the various art forms.
Oh man.
It's like all I have to do is just show up.
Oh man. Like and you know, like Nicolas Cage, I mean, I know he's got a lot of fucking taxes or whatnot, but man, he's putting out some interesting movies, dude. Have you seen the trailer for the new movie he's got?
Yes.
And Pig looks awesome, and
yes,
Colorado Space was entertaining, and I like Mandy a lot.
Mandy is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's metal
Colorado Space, metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's by Panos Cosmatos, who also did Beyond the Black Rainbow. Have you seen that?
I've heard about it. And his dad was the director too, action director, right, from the 80s?
Yes, of Rambo.
Rambo, that's right.
Rambo, First Blood, Part 2. And also Cobra.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny because I've seen Cobra like 3 times as a kid and edited for television, you know what I mean? But I can't fucking remember it, you know what I mean? But I loved the whole concept of that movie.
Oh, it's so 80s. It's so it's so painfully 80s and just like generic.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what's fun about it, right?
Yeah.
And but yeah, Panos Cosmatos. Oh yeah, Tombstone too. Yeah. Was another one that his father did. But yeah, Mandy's awesome. Colorado Space, I think, is the best Lovecraft movie ever made.
Yeah, probably. I can't really think of one that's, you know. Oh, hey, what's up, Hex Allen Comics?
What up,
Hex?
How you doing, man? What up, dude? Yeah, did anybody in the chat, have you watched Devil's Express? This is supposed to be an interactive thing, motherfuckers.
He said, motherfucker.
If you, because the whole concept is we all watch a movie and then we get together to discuss it, and y'all in the chat can watch that shit for free because we only pick movies that aren't behind a paywall. Like if it's behind a paywall, no, you can watch that shit for free on Tubi or like a nice Blu-ray rip on that somebody uploaded to YouTube, which hopefully won't be taken down before you get a chance to watch it. Oh man! All right, well we're at an hour even. I'm gonna call it a night. Everybody, go check out the Devil's Express. The link should be posted below. And Matt, any closing words, any closing thoughts about Devil's Express?
I'd say it's a pretty original movie. It's going to be a little cheesy, obviously, but that's the charm of this. And most of these movies are going to be that way. So just know that going into these are the movies, you know, and they're going to be rich with concept and charm. So check it out. It was a fun movie. Make some popcorn, you know, get in there and check it out. You guys are going to love it.
Yeah. And what should we do for next week? Do you think?
Ooh.
Any ideas? I forgot to contact Joe Vigil. I feel horrible about that. He's a big Mario Bava fan, so I was thinking maybe some Mario Bava possibly. Have you seen any Mario Bava?
No,
You
I'm
haven't.
down.
Have you seen Suspiria?
No, that's a Argento, right?
Yes.
I've had that on the list, and I just never got around to it. I've always wanted to watch that movie. Maybe we should do that one.
Maybe we should do that one. Oh, oh man, dude, I got the Blu-ray for that, and a lot of the Blu-rays aren't that impressive, right? Like you get the Mad Max DVD. I got the Mad Max DVD. I get the Mad Max Blu-ray. Pretty much the same thing. Wah, wah, wah. But then the Mad Max 2 Blu-ray is like eye-popping. Like
that's crazy.
Yeah, like incredible. Like it just looks incredible.
You're just like,
and yeah, well, I mean, it's just like super duper mega high def, right?
Yeah.
Like a new way of watching a favorite movie. And the Suspiria Blu-ray is one of those where it's just like, that's one of those movies. Turn off all the lights, turn on the surround sound speakers, crank them way up, put the subwoofer on the floor, and sit back and just like let that movie just suck you in.
Damn. Yeah, I've seen documentaries on it. There's a lot of movies where I still haven't seen, but like I know of by proxy, and seen film directors like talk about movies they like, and that's always one I've always wanted to get around to watch, and I've never have.
Very, very influential. Okay, so let's make that the movie for next week then.
Okay, let's do it.
So you fools heard it here. Next week, Suspiria. You can see it. I know it's definitely not behind a paywall. It is on Tubi. And I'll also see if I can find maybe like a nice cherry-looking YouTube print. Of course, you should just run out and just buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I hear it's one of those, classics.
Incredible. Incredible. Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Words of parting. I would say, stay spooky. Peace.
Later.